Right then, welcome back to the channel. Manchester United are playing Ipswich at home. It was Ruben Amorim's first game when we met them last. That finished 1-1. Time to see if we've made any progress. Are you confident? Because I'm not confident that we actually have done. Now, we sit 15th in the table on 30 points, which, yeah, it's not good, is it? Let's be real with ourselves. Ipswich are right in the relegation zone in 18th. They're on 17 points. It's a good job that the relegation-threatened sides, the four of them, have been as bad as they are. One of them's going to win like 2 games and get out of it. They're not guaranteed to go down because, like I said, there's 4 in the mix, and obviously only 3 go down. But it's bleak out there for those that are in there, and it's a good job it's bleak out there for the 4 that are below Manchester United. You know, it's only goal difference keeping us in 15th, otherwise we'd be 16th. And then it's literally, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. The 4 teams in relegation battle below us. It is dire. United's 2-2 draw with Everton on Saturday has left us with more questions than answers. We have to kick on and start racking up some points on the board at some point. The probability of winning this game is really in our favour. Most reputable outlets and the bookmakers put us about a 60% chance of winning this one. Injury-wise, we're kind of nearing the end of the tunnel. There's supposedly some tests with Mazraoui to go under, and with Martinez and Johnny Evans already out, losing Mazraoui would be a little bit of a concern for us. Now, Ipswich are reportedly missing Enciso, and with Calvin Phillips' chances being in doubt due to a knock, it is what it is with him all the time. You'd expect Axel Tuanzebe to make his Old Trafford return. McKenna's side will probably still fancy their chances, just with how bad United have been against teams that they're expected to beat like this, like Ipswich. Now, we know how Ipswich play. They've approached their promotion to the Premier League with a tactical setup that balances trying to attack and the way they did in the Championship and trying to be a little bit more pragmatic in terms of top-flight survival. And I think it would be safe to say he's not really done that very often. McKenna deserves a lot of praise for his proactiveness in evolving and adapting his side to the demands of stronger opposition, as you would expect. I think he's a very, very good tactical coach. But also for retaining the core philosophy and the translation of his ideas. It'd be interesting to see if he's able to keep them up, if he can build on it. Because he's not totally changed his philosophy and done what you probably needed to do, which is totally mix it up to survive. But I've said this to a few people in a few different instances, actually. It's very difficult for coaches to just completely throw out what they believe in. Coaches don't go, do you know what? I'm going to play this way because I like it. Coaches see the game in a certain way. And the way that they see the game is the way that they coach the game. And I don't think coaches are as pliable as some people would like them to believe. I think most coaches reckon that there's only one way to win in a game of football. And they want to coach that way. Tony Pulis probably thought the way he was doing it was the only way he could do it. Pep probably thinks the only way to do it is the way that he sees it. Ancelotti probably only sees the way to win as the way that he sees it. It's not like they have like this Rolodex of different formations and systems that they believe work that they're able to just swap and change into. So I think it's very difficult for coaches to have multiple ways of playing. Now, adaptability is one thing. Being able to change for a single game or two is a very important thing. But I don't think there's many coaches out there that can have 10 different ways of playing and believe in all of them. That being said, I would expect Ipswich to come to us in a 4-2-3-1. That gives him flexibility. That deployment gives them a back 4, double pivot. And number 10, that's allowed to do a little bit more creativity. A couple of wide attackers and a lone striker. In possession, you'll see them move to a back 3, push a little bit further forward. It will look 3-4-1-2 or 3-2-4-1. Left back picked up a lot of the responsibility in aiding Ipswich's offence. Leif Davis has turned a lot of heads in his effort to push up high and join the attack, and Davis's forward runs have been very crucial in creating overloads both centrally and in the half spaces. The right back tends to be the one that's more reserved. He tends to tuck in and create a three-man defence with the centre halves. And when they're attacking, McKenna wants the team to focus on moving the ball through the thirds, but he's chosen to adapt a slight bit more long and direct style to play as the season has gone on. They rely on the midfield pivot, which is usually Captain Sam Morsey, to break the lines with forward passes. And then they try and find the creative, tricky number 10 that they've got in Omari Hutchinson. He gets to roam, he gets to link up play, and he gets to ask questions of opposition defences. Then they try and use the wingers and the striker, Liam Delap, as we should well know about, to try and exploit the space with the pace and the movement that they've got. Set pieces have been another particular strength of theirs, with it being a consistent way that Ipswich seem to be scoring. We've got to be careful of that. Set pieces have become synonymous with their championship success last season. They ranked among the league's best in that area. Liam Delap in particular has been a bit of a shining light for them, and whether they are relegated or not, he's going to be on a lot of teams' radars and transfer shortlists come the summer. When they don't have the ball, Ipswich go to, like I said, the book's right down here. Here goes Simeone's 4-4-2, how to defend. And they will use those shapes. It will occasionally look like a 4-2-4 as they look to try and use those wingers and the 9 and 10 to press. But if they're trying to mid-block you and they're trying to just deny the space, it's a 4-4-2 and it's very compact and it's very tight, and they will try to aggressively counter-attack if they're able to win the ball. They do display a very high intensity of press, and they aim to win the ball back in quite high and advanced areas. That's why it looks like a 4-2-4 at times. If you can get past that first line of the press, and I'm not confident United can do that consistently, as we saw against Everton on Saturday, if you go man for man with us and press, this United team currently, even though that there's pretty good individual personnel in there, they do panic, and we could get found out. If you can play through that first line of a press, you will probably own that midfield with an extra player or two, and then you'll get at their defence. And that's what's let them down a little bit, is that when the press doesn't work, it's very similar to what we saw with United at times last season, when you've gone high and you've gone to press, and then the entire opposition are just running at two midfielders, and you're like, what's going on here? The Ipswich are the same. It's the same. It's the same issues that we were having. If they had more ruthlessness in a couple of those key areas, they'd probably be like comfortable mid-table and could be finding themselves in and around the Fulhams of this world. That's the one thing. That's why I think that if they survive, you might see them go like that if they're able to bring in some players. It must be a nightmare for planning, not knowing which league you're going to be in. Because you picking up the phone in the summer as a Premier League team answers so many more phones than if you was a Championship team. And obviously the budget is going to be vastly different as well. So it must be a nightmare when it comes to the planning, but it is what it is. In McKenna, I can see the mark of a manager that's been backed and going to be given time. Whether or not they would get rid of him if they go down, I honestly couldn't tell you. But I think he should be judged relative to the size of Ipswich as a club and where he's taken them from. Because you got to remember, he didn't just take them from the Championship. He took them from League One. So it's impressive what he's done. And overall, Ipswich's tactical setup blends a very fluid structure and a very aggressive defensive game, blended with a little bit of pragmatism. It is about adaptability. They have improved, but the lack of quality is what sees them ship goals in large numbers. That being said, United are going to find it tough because we're garbage at the moment. Starman for Ipswich will be Liam Delap, earmarked for a real potential big move this summer. Maybe they're going to look to try and retool the squad on the back of selling him, actually, because he will catch a pretty fee. Ipswich is shining light this season, totally impressed in his first campaign as a starter in the Premier League. 10 goals, 2 assists in 27 appearances, not to be sniffed at. There's raw power as a number 9, but there's also some intelligent and quick reaction runs from him as well. Very unpredictable, genuine goal scorer. He's in good form. I think he'd probably be getting a goal against United. United's 11. Now, with Mazraoui being out, that was one of the tweaks that I wanted to make, i.e. drop the low. I can't do that if Mazraoui's going to be out. So, the back three, Yoro, Maguire and De Ligt. That'd be a weird night out, wouldn't it? In front of Onana. Delo, right wing back. Dorgu, left wing back. Ugarte, Bruno as a pivot. I think that was working better for us. And then I would bring Eriksson in, if possible, to play as one of the number 10s, because I think that him played higher up gives him less defensive responsibility. You can play on Bruno's energy a little bit more alongside Ugarte, and you're going to need that in this midfield. Eriksen can roll in when we're playing out and be a safe pair of hands to get the ball to, alongside Xerxes in behind Højlund. Do I think Højlund should be playing? No, I don't. But I'm also realistic enough to know that even though I think Obi-Martin did well on it, relative to his expectation on his debut, he's not ready for a start yet. He's just ready for minutes. And I think the likes of Kone would also be ready for minutes as well. So I want to see the players getting minutes. I'm certainly not out here demanding any of them start. Dorgu needs to build on what he did the other day because that was fantastic. And it'd be good to see him go and do a little bit more at Old Trafford after his debut. That's the 11 that we're going with. We are getting some players back, but it's not quick enough. And let's hope it is enough. Now, I think there's enough there to beat Ipswich. I really do. As always, this video is sponsored by our friends at Hollywoodbets, and we've got a big bet boost for this upcoming United versus Ipswich clash. United need to get the job done. Ipswich have been quite fearless in attack, so I would expect a lot of action in this game. Now I'm going with Sam Mosley to be carded, Liam Delap for 1+ shot on target, Bruno Fernandes for 1+ shot on target, and I'm going for over 8.5 corners and both teams to score. And if you fancy that, that's been boosted from 7-1 to 10-1. So 10 on that could get you 110 back if it wins. And if you'd like to get involved with that, all you got to do is click the link in the description. If you're new to Hollywoodbets, you can create an account and take advantage of the excellent new customer offers, which are also linked in the description. Odds are subject to change. You must be 18 to participate. And remember, football is unpredictable and the bet is designed to enhance your viewing experience, and it's certainly no guarantee of a win. For more information on responsible gaming, please check out begambleaware.org. As always, this bet boost is brought to you by myself and Hollywoodbets. Click the link in the description below to get involved, and feel free to share your prediction in the comments. Now, how do you beat this Ipswich team? First of all, you've got to exploit the space. Even though Ipswich have tightened things up in recent weeks, in the last game against Spurs, which was a 4-1 loss, it's shown a lot of vulnerability. Positional fluidity does often lead to lapses in concentration and space in advanced areas. Omari Hutchinson's ability and sort of freedom to roam, the left back always raiding forward, gives you opportunities to create overloads in different areas. Players get out of position, space opens up, people can take advantage of that. Secondly, put them under pressure. They are still far from a team that is at the top of their game when they're in possession. They build out, but they can struggle. The goalkeeper has been a bit of a target of that. Putting them under pressure can cause them problems. I think there's a lot of slack put out on other players, which can lead, and has done, to Ipswich crumbling under a little bit of pressure as well. So balancing risk obviously is important. Ipswich do seem to thrive on teams getting overconfident against them. They've got massive pace in transition, which can do damage. But if you put pressure on them, you press them hard, which I've not really seen United do for a while, to be honest. You can disrupt them. But I worry, because if the first half goes anything like, or if this game goes anything like the first half against Everton, we're in trouble, aren't we? And Ipswich are capable of pressing to the degree that Everton did. And if I'm McKenna, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to be sitting there looking at that game and going, they could have been out of sight by half time. We should do exactly what Everton just did. And what could you say? United's defence was so disorganised. I absolutely, and especially from the set plays, I absolutely think that Ipswich are capable of taking advantage of that. Either way, let me know. How do you see the game going? Can we try and enjoy one, please? Can it be fun? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll catch you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.